Mr. Grow?
Here.
Mr. Melvin?
Here.
Mr. Bourgeois? Nope. Mr. Perilou?
Here.
Mr. Otan?
Here.
Mr. LaFont was feeling ill and had to leave. Mr. Lorraine? Mr. Lorraine, oh, there he is. And Mr. Cantrell?
Mr. Michael Grow will do the invocation and will be led by the pledge by Councilman Perilou.
Lord, we come to you today asking for your guidance, wisdom, and support as we begin this meeting. Help us to engage in meaningful discussion, allow us to grow closer as a group, and nurture the bonds of community. Fill us with your grace as we make decisions that affect LaFourche Parish. We ask this in your name. Amen.
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 I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. No, nothing. We need to defer all of them. Working on them.
Okay, we're going, A, approval of the minutes, numbers 1 through 7. Ms. Carlene still doesn't have her employee. Motion to defer by Councilman Otas, second by Perilou. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Oh,
I have a quick
Councilman
question.
Grow?
Because they're not accepted and also they're not hitting the journal, how soon are the videos on our website? I had that question the other day. I thought it was within a week.
They're there.
So although they can't get the written minutes, they can still watch them online on our LaFourche Parish Government website.
Yes, sir.
Cool.
Anything else? Okay, all in favor? Aye. Any opposed? All right, items are deferred until, what's the date, Ms.
May
Carlene?
22nd is our next meeting.
May 22nd.
Yes.
Got a feeling it'll be a little bit longer than that, but
Yep.
it passes, how many do you have there? There's 3. 6-3 with LaFont, Jones, and Bourgeois being absent. B, proclamations. Parish President James Cantrell to present a proclamation proclaiming the week of May 13th through 19th, 2018 as Police Week. As soon as that's done, I would like to give, as soon as the pictures are done, I would like to give Mr. Foray or whoever a chance to say a few words.
Chief Deputy Todd Diaz and Mr. Gary Foray on behalf of
Who is?
police.
Captain who? Captain Shelby. Welcome.
State of Louisiana, Parish of LaFourche Proclamation. Whereas the Congress and President of the United States have designated May 15th as Peace Officers Memorial Day and a week in which it falls as Police Week, and whereas the International Association of Chiefs of Police has declared law enforcement officer safety and wellness a top priority and promotes the importance of individual, agency, family, and community safety and wellness awareness, and whereas it is important that all citizens know and understand the problems, duties, and responsibilities of their police department, and that members of the police department recognize their duty to serve the people by safeguarding life and property, protecting against violence or disorder, and protecting the innocent against deception and the weak against oppression or intimidation, and whereas all law enforcement within LaFourche Parish provide a vital public service, and now, therefore, I, James B. Cantrell, President of LaFourche, call upon the citizens to observe the week of May 13th through 19th, 2018 as Police Week, commemorating police officers past and present who by their faithful devotion have dedicated service to their communities and established a reputation for preserving the rights and security of all citizens. In witness thereof, I do hereunto set my signature and have cause to be affixed the official seal of the LaFourche Parish, State of Louisiana, on this 8th day of May, 2018.
Mr. Foray? Thank you, guys. I don't know what we'd do without police officers. That's a tough job. I definitely don't have the courage for it, so thank you guys for doing it, guys and girls for doing it day in and day out.
Good afternoon, and thank you. Gary Forey, 108 Pierre Street, Raceland. I'm here representing the group called COPS, Concerns of Police Survivors. We are all survivors of a line-of-duty death. My line-of-duty death was going to be 15 years, July the 31st. My son-in-law was Woody Harrelson of the Sheriff's Office, and his partner, Cheney Champagne. We have a network throughout the state of Louisiana, throughout the United States, actually, and we all are volunteers. We charge nothing to do what we do. We meet with the families, with the survivors. We just did a briefing with 5 different families that are going to Washington, D.C. this weekend for National Police Week next week, where 360 names are being added, have been added to the walls, which are running out of space, 129 from last year. As of this year, we have 51 that have lost their lives in the line of duty, and the majority of that have been by gunshot. The latest one was in Florida yesterday. He passed away from a shooting the night before. We provide a lot of support to our survivors. We're financially sending 5 families. The McNeil family, he was one of 7 children, so we're sending that entire family, probably 40, that we're financially funding their trip to Washington, D.C., and their housing for them, because it's a major thing to have to see a little 4-year-old and a 2-year-old not have daddy around anymore. They're wonderful kids. But we do a lot of support for them, and our main source of funding is payroll deduct. And of course, I'm a tout Sheriff Weber. He started a payroll deduct program for Louisiana cops before the state or the nation had it. And all we ask the officers is $1 a paycheck. So we thank you for your time. We thank you for this. We do need our law enforcement people. It's sad. I don't know what gets them to go there, but it just blue runs in their blood. But thank you for the support.
Thank you, Gary.
You're welcome.
Councilman Melvin?
I'd just like to say that in LaFourche Parish, I've been pretty much a lifelong resident. I've always felt safe in the parish. And I know lately there's been an increase of a little bit of violence, of course, between here and Terrebonne. You can't help but read in the paper, but I still feel very safe in LaFourche, as well as Terrebonne. But I really appreciate what these guys and gals do day in and day out. It really takes a lot, and I know that the vast majority of police across the nation are very good, well-meaning people, and I think that they've taken quite a bashing over the last several years, and I don't think they deserved all the bashing they got across this country, but I just find that the far majority are very good, well-meaning, and they honor their oath. Thank you.
Anyone else?
Thank you.
Thank you again. B, number 9, Parish President James Cantrell to present a proclamation proclaiming the month of May as Mental Health Awareness Month.
We have a representative here. State of Louisiana, Parish of LaFourche Proclamation. Whereas mental health is essential to everyone's overall health and well-being, and mental health conditions are real and prevalent in our nation, and whereas all Americans experience times of difficulty and stress in their lives, and whereas prevention is an effective way to reduce the burden of mental health conditions, and whereas with effective treatment, those individuals with mental health conditions can recover and lead full, productive lives, and whereas each business, school, government agency, healthcare provider, organization, and citizen shares the burden of mental health problems and has a responsibility to promote mental wellness and support prevention efforts. Now, therefore, I, James B. Cantrell, President of the Parish of LaFourche, do hereby proclaim the month of May as Mental Health Awareness Month. In witness thereof, I do hereunto set my signature and have cause to be affixed the official seal of Parish of LaFourche, State of Louisiana, on its 8th day of May, 2018.
Thank you, President Cantrell, for recognizing. C, presentations and/or updates. Number 10, Mr. Barry Leday, Treasurer, Fire Protection District Number 7, Board, to present an annual report.
Barry Leday, 210 Rue Grand Chien, Thibodaux, Louisiana, the Treasurer for Fire District 7, which includes 308 Fire Department. We had a beginning balance of $30,829.11. LaFourche ad valorem tax, we collected $112,255.02. We had a grant from 308 from the L'Oreal Foundation for $15,000. Insurance rebate, $7,730.68. Miscellaneous income, $430.25. Sale from some air packs, $2,500, with a total income of $168,745.06. We had an ending balance of $48,863.53. Capital improvement account, which we used for future purchase of trucks and stations. Beginning balance, $136,823.13. A deposit, $28,000. Ending balance, $164,823.13. We also, at the beginning of this year, put $40,000 more, which gave us a balance of $204,823.13. All reports were turned into the parish. All the audits were done and sent to the parish and the state. All the meetings were published. We also received a custom pumper from Thibodeau Fire Department in 1990, which would replace a 1983 truck that we have. On the back page, there's a list of all the accomplishments from the chief. We just got rated on our insurance rating, and we're waiting for the results from that. We are class 4 right now. We're thinking we're gonna stay the same. Any questions?
How long does it take you to get the rating back?
We should be getting it back in a couple of weeks.
Okay. Councilman Otan?
Yeah, so I'm glad to hear y'all feel y'all keeping y'all rating, because a couple of the other departments told me it was pretty brutal and they're a little scared. So I'm glad to hear that you guys are pretty confident. Were y'all prepared for the new rating system? I mean, y'all.
Yeah, we had to buy some ladders for a salvage unit. Just example, we ended up paying $700 shipping just for those ladders, and them ladders will probably never be used because we have them on a pumper, but that's the insurance rating people that's causing all this.
Yeah, that's unfortunate.
Cause you to spend money.
That's unfortunate. I know a lot of fire departments, every 5 years, they open up their compartments and they still have a lot of different items that are still in the package and has never been used, but because it's required for reading, they haven't. So, but thank y'all for what y'all doing, Barry. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Anyone else?
Anybody else?
Thank you, Barry.
Thank you.
Thanks for all you do. 11, Attorney Alex Prochaska.
Prohaska.
What's that?
Prohaska.
Prohaska. Attorney Alex Prohaska to discuss the Choctaw levy. Sorry for that name butchering.
It's okay. You said
You're
it just
used
like
to
it's
it, right?
pronounced. Oh, yes, absolutely. Thank y'all. It's a pleasure being here. Alex Prohaska. I'm with Jones Walker. I've been representing the parish in this Choctaw levy matter in negotiating with EPA. We've coming before you on item number 61 here on today is a resolution authorizing the parish to sign 2 documents settling this matter with EPA. One of which is gonna reduce a penalty that was assessed on the parish back in 2016. It's gonna reduce it from $177 down to $23,750. That's gonna take care of that deal. The other document is a administrative order of consent, which says that the parish is gonna file an application within 60 days of its effective date, which will be shortly after it gets signed, to go ahead and submit an application to the Corps and then do the restoration and mitigation obligations down there. Those are the 2 things that are going to be in front of y'all today on item number 61. And so basically I'm here to answer any questions that y'all have on it. Again, this will end any the involvement of EPA in this matter. They'll still be there in an oversight role just to kind of make sure that things get done. But from this point out, this settles that penalty assessment there between EPA and the parish.
So you're no longer involved at this point, right?
I shouldn't be involved anymore going forward. There may be one thing with a tolling agreement that I may be involved in, just one little thing between EPA and actually the Corps and the parish. But for purposes, yes, I'm going to be out of this thing. This will be in the hand of Mr. Piciola. They're going to be taking care of the permitting and the mitigation and those things going forward. I was brought in to help with EPA, and this is the conclusion of that.
Okay. Councilman Melvin?
Yes, sir, thank you so much. So I should reserve my questions about mitigation for Mr. Picciolo?
I would think so, yes,
Okay.
sir.
Councilman Lorraine?
Yeah, that's what I wanted to find out about the mitigation. But I also want the public to know, because this has been a hot issue. This has nothing to do with this administration. When all this was done, it was done prior to this administration.
That is correct.
Prior to this administration. It was inherited. And I thank you.
Mr. Jimmy or Tommy, did either of you want to say anything about, as far as the mitigation a little bit that you mentioned to me, as far as what was going to happen with that levy?
That's, well, I'd let Joe handle it. I mean, we all
Okay.
understand what's going on, but Joe's going to explain it. Just
By the way, you did a great job. I really appreciate you getting down those penalties for us.
Oh, it's been a pleasure. Leadership to Mr. Jimmy, he really stepped forward and engaged with the Corps in all of our discussions with EP and everything. Really, he did want to do the right thing.
Great.
So,
Thank you for that, Mr. Jimmy. Joe?
Yes, Joe Picciolo with Picciolo Associates, 115 Picciolo Parkway and Cutoff. I'll answer any questions you have
Is that
about
mic
what we
on?
have so far.
Joe, is that mic on? I don't think it's,
White button, Joe.
It has a green light.
oh, there you go. Okay.
Maybe I can just give you an overview
Yeah,
of what
that's all.
we've discussed with the Corps so
Because
far.
since it came out in the newspapers, I've been having to, being asked a lot of questions about, is the levy going
Understood.
away now, or the vulnerable to the water, so.
Well, what we went back to the Corps was, we went back to them and had several meetings, several conference calls of discussions about different options on how we could fix the situation with them. And as you understand, the original project was from the Banan Pump Station, several hundred feet off the road, all the way down to the St. James Canal, okay? So you impacted roughly about 20 acres of bottomland hardwood forestry, okay? So they want to try to do as much or as little environmental impacts as you possibly can get away with the most reasonable alternative, okay? So the long and the short of it is what we agreed to with the Corps tentatively at this time is that we'll keep the levee in place behind the homes up into the pipeline right away, and then we'll shift along the pipeline right away to the roadway, okay? And then the rest of the proposal is to elevate the roadway 18 inches from the pipeline right away down to the St. James Canal, okay? And that'll provide flood protection for everybody that's west of the roadway, and it'll still provide flood protection for the lots that are north of the pipeline right away, okay? So that reduces the amount of total impacts to about 11.4 acres, okay? So we're still looking at permanent impact mitigation of some $770,000, okay? And that's estimated right now. And then the Corps in their initial discussions was talking about possibly mitigation for temporal impacts. What that means is the temporary damage that you did, even though you're restoring it, they want you to pay for temporal impacts. And if we would have to pay for that, that's another $592,000. But at our last meeting with the Corps, they said that they would be willing to consider reducing the temporal impacts mitigation or doing away with it at all altogether. Okay, so that being said, we have an estimated amount of construction of $1.1 million for the restoration part, okay? And that's $525,000 to elevate the road and another $600,000 to restore to degrade the levee, fill in the canal, bring in some dirt, build the levee to the pipeline, and then plant the whole thing. I want you to reforest it with cypress and tupelo, okay? So a lot of this stuff, we feel that Parish can do some of this work in-house, okay? So in talking to Mr. James Barnes, Mr. Jimmy, and to Tommy, we feel like a good portion of the restoration work can be done in-house, potentially reducing that $600,000 number. Of course, the planning would have to be done by somebody who specializes in wetland planning. Now, the roadway work would also have to be done by an outside contractor. But all told, I mean, if we go with the worst-looking number for all of this stuff, we're looking at about $2.8 million. If the parish can do some of the work in-house for restoration, we can get these temporal impacts for mitigation reduced, then we're looking at about $1.6 million. So that's the long and the short of it. And now, what this consent agreement today you're gonna sign, we're gonna go ahead and do an application with the mitigation plan and with the restoration plan to the Corps within probably 30 days. We got 60 days to do it, but we're almost ready, so we'll do it in about 30 days and get the process rolling. But I want you guys to all understand, that's what we're looking at, 1.6 million to 2.8 million.
Now, you said 16 inches raise the road? 16?
18 inches to raise the road.
18 inches, and that's going to provide the protection that the levee provided?
Plus 3.5, yes, ma'am.
Plus what?
Plus 3.5, yes, ma'am. That's what the levee was at right now, and that's what we would plan to raise the road to.
Plus, so it's additional 3.5 inches, you're saying? Or
No.
What you're
That's
saying?
that would be the elevation of the roadway.
Oh, okay.
The elevation of the levee right now is at a plus 3.5 elevation. And so if we raise the road 18 inches, we'll be at a plus 3.5 on the roadway.
Okay. Okay, Councilman Melvin?
Thank you, Joe, I appreciate it. I just wanted to get a little history on this because, of course, it was, Mr. Lorraine is spot on. This is history before we took over, and Mr. Cantrell as well. First question, how long ago was the original levee built?
The road was done, I mean, the levee was done in an emergency action
Just roughly.
around 2009, 2010.
Okay. The way it was supposed to be built originally was 10, or 9 or 10 is what you're telling me? Or it was
Yes.
moved? Because that's my next question.
Well, first off, it was during an emergency situation in a storm. The parish built a levee behind the houses and then along the roadway, which is what the Corps wanted them to do. It was an emergency authorization by the Corps.
Right, so it was built, let's say, in 9. And how long is the levee? Was the levee originally, roughly?
It's about, let's say about 7,000 feet long.
Okay, so over a mile.
Yeah.
Okay. And when was it moved without permit or illegally, or however you want to term it? It was moved.
About 6 to 8 months later.
6 to 8 months later. Okay, so that was still 9, 10, right?
In that time frame,
Okay.
right.
And how far was it moved from the original spot?
About 250 feet.
So 250 feet
Into
inland?
the cypress
Inland.
swamp, yeah.
Yes, sir, okay. So it ate up those wetlands, right? Okay. That's interesting simply because I think the public, needs a little clarity on this. We're talking about 23,000 in a fine, 770 in temporal impacts possibly, and then 2.8 million. Why are we spending all this money, and why do we have to do this? Because the Corps says we have to correct what was done wrong or not supposed to be done that occurred?
That's correct.
Okay. Okay, that answers my
Councilman-
question.
Councilman Lorraine?
Yes, also read where it said that this is gonna go away. I think he did a great job to lower the fine, but that's just the fine. Would you say that this is gonna go away after everything is done?
Well-
Mitigation, the whole 9 yards, then you could say it's gonna go away?
Well, once you do the permit application and you go through the permitting process, you agree on the amount of mitigation, you pay the mitigation, you do the restoration, all right? There'll be some monitoring by a biologist later on, like they have certain time intervals, like after a year you have to do monitoring, maybe after 2 years you have to do monitoring, or he just goes and does a report and tells the Corps, yeah, the cypress swamp is growing back like it's supposed to, and all that stuff. But that's the only thing you would have.
Right, once it's completed, but you can't sit up here and say it's gonna go away. on its own after we pay the fine with he lowers.
Well, once you pay the fine, then you move into the process of applying for the permit, and then you have to do this project. You have to restore it back to what it
Okay,
was
well, I don't
before.
think it's gonna go away that easy.
Councilman Otam?
Yeah, Joe, just the way I read it, by signing, by approving the agreement with the EPA, it's not just, we're not only agreeing just to the fine, but we're also agreeing to follow through with all of the Corps' mandates, correct? Is it the way I read it, it seemed like there was also some, I don't know if you can maybe comment on that. In other words, I want to make sure that we're clear that when we're making this agreement with the EPA, we're not just arbitrarily also agreeing open-ended with the Corps.
No, so there's two documents here, yes. So one settles the penalty with EPA. The other one settles, both of these documents involve EPA, but as part of EPA, one of them deals with the penalty, which is the CAFO, the AOC. It's agreement with EPA that says that the parish is going to go through with the permitting obligations that they have to with involving the Corps. So, and it gets EPA out of the picture, but now what you have to do is you have to submit a permit application, then you have to restore and or mitigate, which Joe was talking about in that portion. So it doesn't necessarily make it go away, but what it does, it gets EPA out of the picture, it resolves the penalty, but then now all you're dealing with is between y'all and the Corps on as far as what's going on, what your mitigation and restoration obligations are going to be down the road.
So the agreement tonight, if we agree with it, it only says that we're continuing our negotiations with the Corps. We're not saying we're open-ended, we're gonna do whatever the Corps says at this point in time, which doesn't sound like it's been totally resolved from what Joe just said anyway.
It has not.
No, and so, but there are some things in place that says these are what your impacts are right now. So we know what the impacts are, that they should not, and from our discussions with the Corps so far, is you're either gonna have to mitigate or restore that. Joe and I have worked with the Corps. We understand kind of, we have a ballpark of kind of what that's gonna be as far as what your costs are gonna go forward. Now, if the Corps comes back and does a total 180 and says, no, we're gonna do this, then we'll get into some more negotiations. I say we. Then the parish will get into some more negotiations of why, we talked about it here and this is what we're gonna do. Why are you changing on it? So, I mean, it's not, by all means, it's not settled, set in stone of what you're gonna have to do going forward. But we have a pretty good idea that we'll mitigate here, then we'll try to restore some here. So there is some kind of clarity there that we know the process is gonna be. Now, we're not waiving any rights that you would have as a permit applicant as far as if the Corps makes you do something unruly or unreasonably.
That's my question.
I'm sorry, long way of getting to your answer. From now on, you're gonna be treated, for the most part, like a regular applicant that would be into the thing. However, that you're gonna have to do it, whereas you're not gonna be able to say, oh, we wanna back out and don't wanna do the project anymore. You'll still have the rights, if they're being unruly, to go back and negotiate with them. They're not gonna have that hammer on you to say, no, you have to do this and you have to do this. You're gonna have to, one way or another, you're gonna have to either restore or mitigate, and then that's where Joe and his folks are gonna come in to try to help y'all with that. And those conversations have already started. One part of the compliance order that says you have to submit an application, which they're getting ready to do. The next part is to submit a draft mitigation plan. They've already done that twice. So those conversations are already going.
Okay.
So.
Good, thank you.
And I'm sorry if I misled y'all to say this was over. It should be over with EPA, but there's still gonna be some stuff going forward with the Corps as far as getting the project implemented. And then like Joe says, some monitoring costs.
Couple other questions, Joe. Obviously, with the massive financial burden that we may or may not even be able to pay, do we have timelines that, I mean, is it gonna be like, is this a 10-year plan? Does this has to be a 1-year plan, a 6-month plan? I mean, what's your feeling with the Corps on how quick this has to happen? I mean, obviously, if we don't have the finances, I mean, that's something has to be done over a course of a long period of time, I'd imagine. I mean, I'm not in these discussions, I don't know, I'm just asking.
The Corps process for the permit is gonna take a while. I mean, in my experience in dealing with the Corps on a project such like this, unless they really, really fast track it, you're looking at a minimum of 6 months, probably more like a year to negotiate and come up with a permit. Now, they've never said anything in our meetings about timelines, about when they actually approve the permit, as to when they expect the work to be done, but I would expect that they're gonna expect you to continually work at restoring it, the project, and then also, providing flood protection, everything that's the permit dictates. Okay?
So you just made a comment about flood protection. So the part of it you mentioned was about the 18 inches on the road. That's something that the Corps will require, or this is simply for us to keep the same level of protection for that community?
The Corps didn't require that, but they certainly didn't want to provide a lower level of flood protection for the community. So that was our idea to come up with that, so we can have the same amount of flood protection, but have the least amount of impacts to the environment.
I'm just saying, if this had to be done in phases, I mean, if we're talking about 2.8 million, there's 500-something thousand dollars, it seems like it could be postponed further down the road if it's not mandated by the Corps. That's kind of what I'm asking, like,
Well, the one
if I'm looking at the big picture of the finance, where are we gonna get all this money from? Can this be done in stages? And it sounds like, from what you just said, that maybe there will be some wiggle room on this, on the road elevation. It's not necessarily would be a mandate. I understand they want to see the same level of protection, but it's got to get funded some kind of way also.
Right, but I think that the construction part of it, the roadway is, I think you have some leeway on that, okay? But as far as the restoration, they're gonna want you to start that process, in a reasonable amount of time after they issue the permit. But now, the mitigation, you will have to pay for that mitigation, before they issue you a permit.
That's a lump sum payment?
It will be.
How does that work?
Probably a lump sum payment, that's right. There has been discussions with the mitigation banks to, let you pay over time, or like payments, but they're really not in favor of that.
Yeah, obviously. If I owned them, I wouldn't be either.
I agree.
All right, thank you, Joe.
Councilman Grow.
Yeah, I was just gonna mention, I'm not in favor of, turning up old dirt and things like that, but somebody better be bird dogging this deal with the sheriff's department or district attorney's office to figure out who did it. We're not talking about 50 years ago. We're talking about 9 or 10 years. For 2.8 million or 1.6 million, we need to put somebody in jail or figure out who else can help with this fine, some kind of way. People don't get amnesia that quick, not in a community like Chack Bay or Choctaw. Somebody knows what happened. So I hope somebody's asking some questions.
Mr. Jimmy, I know I asked you the same thing in a meeting before this meeting, so do you want to add anything to?
Well, I just wanted to make it perfectly clear that the mitigation has to be paid up front. Joe, I know I'm speaking, and so the mitigation is $700,000. We have to find $700,000. If it's $500, whatever it may be, that has to be paid up front. We didn't get no waivers in the way I think you talked to them, Joe. They didn't tell you no, but it was almost no. So they're not going to waiver from that. Hopefully, by the end of the day, instead of being $2.8 million, we end up with 1.6 or 1.5, 1.7, something like in that range. But the money has to be found. We have to pay a lot of it in advance. I don't know what breaks we're going to get with anybody because these people don't give breaks. And it's just that we have to find the money. And this is going to be the problem. I've been warning you all about this over here, and people took me lightly. But
But back to Councilman Grow's question, are you trying to find the people who did this?
Yes. We're doing an investigation right now. We have many investigations going on, but that's one of them.
Okay. Councilman
I'm
Mellon.
sorry, that's what I was going to say. Is it the DA or the sheriff's office? Whose jurisdiction is it to do this investigation? Because we don't have any power to do this sort of thing.
The DA's requested us to go through emails and everything, and we've been doing that, and we've got a lot of information to give to them.
Anything else? Anyone? Thank you, Joe.
Thank you.
Let the record show Councilman Bourgeois came in at 5:23. D, legal advisory report. None. No more. E, public wishing to address the council. It includes public hearings, agenda items, etc. Ms. Carlene, do we have any?
Mr. Danny Maye, if you'd approach the podium, Mr. Maye, state your name and address for the record. Please remember, you have 3 minutes.
Danny Mae, my residence 164 Sycamore Street in Raceland. I am the president of LaFourche Parish Fire District Number 1 Volunteer Fire Department. I gave you each a flyer on May the 19th. We have a 25-year celebration of the reorganization and the taking over of providing fire services for LaFourche Fire Protection District Number 1. This celebration will be at the Raceland Ag Center. We have many activities. We're going to have quite a few speakers. We're going to have some food that a lot of vendors have provided us. We have games for the kids, and we'll also have all our fire equipment on display. When we took over in 1993, we were left with one fire truck. Today we have 9 pumpers, we have a 100-foot ladder, we have a command truck, we have 3 rescue salvages, 2 hose tenders, and a fireboat. So we have grown tremendously since that time, and we want to demonstrate to the public what we have. So we do invite you and all the public to attend our function on May the 19th. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Danny. Any questions for Danny? Ms. Carleen, any more public? F, engineers, architects reports. Do we have any tonight? Nice. Public hearings and ordinance for ratification. Can I get a motion to open public hearings? Moved by Councilman Melvin, second by Paraloo. All in favor? Any opposed? Number 12, ordinance. Passes 702 with LaFont and Jones being absent. Number 12, ordinance establishing watch for children and children at play signs to be placed on East 158th Street, Galliano, Louisiana, Ward 10, District 9, Parish of LaFourche, State of Louisiana, providing for placement of watch for children and children at play signs. Moved by Councilman Lorraine, second by Grow. Any discussion from the council? I did have something I recently realized with talking with Ms. Carleen that certain items don't have to go on the agenda if it doesn't have a penalty. So
The only reason why I put it on the agenda by ordinance, so I could keep a record. There are many times that you pass the ordinance and it gets lost, it never gets done, so you get back to the ordinance. Am I right, Ms. Carleen? And that's the only reason.
okay.
Now it's on record.
Okay, that's a good idea. All right, any discussion from the public? 1 time, 2 times, 3 times. All in favor? Any opposed? Passes 702
Ms. Lucy, Chairwoman?
with Jones and LaFont being absent.
On 13, I'd like to defer it until June 12th. I'll be unavailable at I won't be at the meeting on the 22nd, so I'd like to have it 2 meetings from now.
Okay, defer number 13 to June 12th. All in favor? Any opposed? Passes 702 with LaFont and Jones being out. Do I have to say that every time, Ms. Carleen? Should I? Okay. Number 14, ordinance providing for 2018 supplemental appropriation 18-012 within the 2018 operation and maintenance budget to increase the budget for the Louisiana Government Assistance Program, LGAP grant, LGAP 1415-LFR-0001, FY 2014 to 2015 for the grant awarded to LaFourche Parish Government for the Office of Community Development Division of Administration for the purchase of supplies for the renovations of the main and old agriculture buildings project, and authorizing the parish president to sign, execute, and administer said transaction as provided for by Article 6 of the LaFourche Parish Home Rule Charter, moved by Councilman Gross, second by OTAN. Any discussion from the council? Any discussion from the public? One time, two times, three times? All in favor? Any opposed? Passes 702 with laFourche and Jones being absent. Can I get a motion to close the public hearing? Moved by Paraluz, second by Melvin. All in favor? Any opposed? Public hearing is closed. Vote is 702. Councilman Otan, will you read the proposed ordinances? And
Yes,
if you-
Madam Chairman. H, proposed ordinance. Number 15, proposed ordinance levying and imposing taxes for 2018 on all the property subject to taxation in the Parish of laFourche Drainage District parish-wide, sponsored by Councilman Lorraine for administration. Number 16, proposed ordinance levying and imposing taxes for 2018 on all the property subject to taxation in the Parish of laFourche Fire Protection District Number 9 by Councilman Lorraine for the administration. Number 17, proposed ordinance levying and imposing taxes for 2018 on all the property subject to taxation in the Parish of laFourche Fire Protection District Number 1 by Councilman Lorraine for the administration. Number 18, proposed ordinance levying and imposing taxes for 2018 on all the property subject to taxation in the Parish of laFourche Fire Protection District Number 7 by Councilman Lorraine for administration. Number 19, proposed ordinance levying and imposing taxes for 2018 on all the property subject to taxation in the Parish of laFourche Fire Protection District Number 4, Councilman Lorraine for administration. Item 20, proposed ordinance levying and imposing taxes for 2018 on all the property subject to taxation in the Parish of laFourche Health Unit by Councilman Lorraine for administration. Number 21, proposed ordinance levying and imposing taxes for 2018 on all the property subject to taxation in the Parish of laFourche Public Building, Councilman Lorraine for administration. Number 22, proposed ordinance levying and imposing taxes for 2018 on all the property subject to taxation in the Parish of laFourche Recreation District Number 2 by Councilman Lorraine for administration. Number 23, proposed ordinance levying and imposing taxes for 2018 on all the property subject to taxation in the Parish of laFourche Recreation District Number 8 by Councilman Lorraine for administration. Number 24, proposed ordinance levying and imposing taxes for 2018 on all the properties subject to taxation in the Parish of laFourche Recreational Facilities by Councilman Lorraine for administration. Item 25, proposed ordinance levying and imposing taxes for 2018 on all the properties subject to taxation in the Parish of laFourche Veterans Memorial District Ward 10 by Councilman Lorraine for administration. Item 26, proposed ordinance levying and imposing taxes for 2018 on all the property subject to taxation in the Parish of laFourche Library. Councilman Lorraine for administration. Item 27, proposed ordinance levying and imposing taxes for 2018 on all the property subject to taxation in the Parish of laFourche Library. Councilman Lorraine for administration. Item 28, proposed ordinance levying and imposing taxes for 2018 on all the property subject to taxation in the Parish of laFourche Special Service District Number 1. Councilman Lorraine for administration. Item number 29, proposed ordinance levying and imposing taxes for 2018 on all the properties subject to taxation in the Parish of laFourche General Alimony. Councilman Lorraine for administration. Item 30, proposed ordinance levying and imposing taxes for 2018 on all the property subject to taxation in the Parish of laFourche Criminal Tax by Councilman Lorraine for administration. Item 31, proposed ordinance levying and imposing taxes for 2018 on all the properties subject to taxation in the Parish of laFourche Drainage, Health, and Library by Councilman Lorraine for administration. Item 32, proposed ordinance levying and imposing taxes for 2018 on all the property subject to taxation in the Parish of laFourche Road District Number 1, Councilman Lorraine for administration. Item 33, proposed ordinance levying and imposing taxes for 2018 on all the properties subject to taxation in the Parish of laFourche General Alimony, rolling forward, Councilman Lorraine for administration. Item 34, proposed ordinance levying and imposing taxes for 2018 on all the property subject to taxation in the Parish of laFourche Criminal Tax, rolling forward, Councilman Lorraine for administration. Item 35, proposed ordinance levying and imposing taxes for 2018 on all the property subject to taxation in the Parish of laFourche Drainage, Health, and Library, rolling forward, Councilman Lorraine for administration. Item 36, proposed ordinance levying and imposing taxes for 2018 on all the property subject to taxation in the Parish of laFourche Road District Number 1, rolling forward, Councilman Lorraine for administration. Item 37, proposed ordinance levying and imposing taxes for 2018 on all the property subject to taxation in the Parish of laFourche, Council on Aging, Councilman Lorraine for administration. Item 38, proposed ordinance to accept the subdivision known as Old Town Subdivision Phase 1 into the parish system. Can someone move for Councilman Jones? Moved by Councilman Grow for the administration. Item 39, proposed ordinance to accept the subdivision known as the settlement at Live Oak Phase 1 in the parish system. Moved by Councilwoman Esposito for administration. Item number 40, proposed ordinance requesting no dumping of trash, waste, or debris, $500 fine, signs with the inclusion of the ordinance number at the bottom of the signs be posted at Old Highway 1 in Leeville, Louisiana, near the exit ramp of the elevated highway to Port Fourchon, providing for the placement of no dumping of trash, waste, or debris, $500 fine, signs, and providing for penalties for the violations thereof. By Councilman Lorraine for administration. Item 41, proposed ordinance authorizing LaFourche Parish government to purchase a certain tract or parcel of land designated as Tract 2, containing 32.698 acres in Lockport, from Joey and Roxanne Enterprises LLC in the total amount of $458,000, and authorizing the parish president to sign, execute, and administer a purchase agreement, act of sale, and any and all relevant documents necessary to acquire said property, by Councilman Otam. Somebody wants to move for me on that? Councilman Bourgeois moves for me, on behalf of the administration. Item 42, proposed ordinance providing for a 2018 supplemental appropriation 18-009 within the 2018 operations and maintenance budget to carry forward balances of all remaining projects in the 2017 operations and maintenance budget, and to make adjustments to the 2018 operations and maintenance budget for specific projects, and authorizing the parish president to sign, execute, and administer said transactions as provided for by Article 6 of the LaFourche Parish Home Rule Charter, moved by Councilman Lorraine for administration, and that's it.
Thank you, Councilman Otant. I, resolutions 43.
I need to defer it for Councilman LaFont till
Okay.
5:22.
52218, defer number 43. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Passes 702 with LaFont and Jones being absent. Number 44, resolution creating the Home Rule Charter Revision Committee to be composed of a minimum of 6 members and maximum of 9 members, one chosen from each councilmatic district by its respective council member of the council chair for the purpose of reviewing the current LaFourche Parish Home Rule Charter for possible amendments and/or changes, and to make recommendations of possible amendments and/or changes to the council for consideration. Furthermore, those amendments and/or changes shall be approved by the council, which shall be brought to the voters of LaFourche Parish. We have to make an amendment to this, Ms. Carleen. The last line. So they will be submitted. I don't want to say shall be brought to the voters because it's not necessarily so. So, be submitted for review and discussion to the council for consideration for voter approval. I need a motion from someone on the amendment. Oh,
Somebody move for you
oh, did you move for me?
on the actual resolution? Somebody needs to move.
All right, the resolution, can someone move on that for me? Moved by Councilman Grove. Okay, amendment. The amendment will replace, do I need to read the whole thing over again, Ms. Carleen? Okay, so when it says, and to make recommendation of possible amendments and/or changes to the council for consideration, just take out for consideration, everything from for consideration thereafter. So, and/or changes to the council, possible amendments and/or changes to the council to be, wait a second, make recommendations.
To the council for consideration.
Yeah, to make recommendations to the council for consideration of voter approval.
To the council.
To be submitted to the council for review and discussion, and consideration of voter approval. Okay.
I'm stopping at possible amendments and or changes and to make recommendations. And we're stopping at recommendations, and we're picking up to be submitted to the.
Of recommendations to be submitted for review and discussion to the council for consideration of voter approval. Does that work? Because all recommendations may not necessarily go to the voters, so. Well, I mean, the council may not, they're going to present it to the council. This, well, let me get a motion on the amendment.
Ms. Postel, you're forming this committee, and there won't be anybody representing the administration on this committee? Don't you think it'd be wise to have somebody from the administration, appointment from the administration on this committee?
You need to, she said she can't hear you.
I say, wouldn't you think it'd be wise to have somebody from the administration be appointed on this committee?
Yeah,
Seems to me it's one-sided.
Ask Mr. Lorraine,
um,
when they had it previously, Ms. Randolph was a part of it, but she wasn't on the committee.
yeah, previously, when they had a commission or committee, I know I talked with Lisa today, they did have a committee. I'm not sure the current administration was part of it, because the councilmen aren't a part of this committee. So it isn't necessarily, it's not the council's committee. It's the, well, I mean, we're appointing people just like every other committee,
Well,
but.
that's what I mean. Don't you think we should appoint somebody to represent the administration? I'm not gonna be on the committee, I just wanna appoint somebody. It's
I'm
just
not opposed to that, Mr. Cantrell.
It's the commission, it's not the committee. Mr. Meyer was on it.
No, it's a committee, but I'm not opposed to that. Councilman Bourgeois?
Actually, I was wanting to discuss when we're going to talk about the actual resolution itself.
Okay. So you want to turn your light off?
Okay, I had it on before.
Okay, so I'm not opposed to adding an appointment to the, all right, so we have a vote on that amendment in a second already?
We don't even have a motion on the amendment.
Okay, did we have a motion on the amendment? Moved by Councilman Melvin, second by Councilman Otan. All right. Oh, I think Grow already moved on that, right? No, Grow is the regular one. All right, so now we want to amend it again to include an appointee. So let's see. So I'm going to stick with the 6 members, 9. Oh, well, we have to do maximum of 10. So we'll have to change the number count, amend it, maximum of 10. Yeah, but if it still has to come before council, and the DA is going to help them with that. If I wouldn't have all of these other resolutions moving people, I wish I would have called me before and asked to be added to this, so we could have had the amendment ready.
I was looking at it and just thought of it just now.
Okay. Do they need to?
Respect the council, the council chair, and also a member of the administration.
Not of the administration. The administration's going to nominate someone.
Right.
Oh,
And an appointee of the administration. Ms. Carleen, could you read that amendment part? So you're not, Mr. Jimmy, you're not saying it's not someone in the administration, it's an appointee? Okay.
It'd be somebody totally outside the administration.
so let's see if we can get it now. Resolution creating the Home Rule Charter Revision Committee to be composed of a minimum of 6 members and a maximum of 10 members one chosen from each councilmatic district by its respective council member or the council chair, and one appointee from the administration. You okay with that, Mr. Jimmy? For the purpose... Okay, yes. For the purpose of reviewing...
Wait a second, why don't we say an appointee by parish president instead of by administration?
Okay.
That's fine.
That's good with y'all? Sorry for these delays, y'all. I think it is good
Okay.
to have it.
An appointee by the parish president for the purpose of reviewing the current LaFourche Parish Home Rule Charter for possible amendments and/or changes, and to make recommendations to be submitted to the council for consideration of voter approval.
And discussion.
Oh, you thought you scratched that out? Okay. All right. Everybody
Okay.
understood that?
You want to read it again?
You want me to read it again?
Please.
Resolution creating the Home Rule Charter Revision Committee to be composed of a minimum of 6 members, a maximum of 10 members, one chosen from each councilmatic district by its respective council member or the council chair, and an appointee by the parish president for the purpose of reviewing the current LaFourche Parish Home Rule Charter for possible amendments and/or changes, and to make recommendations to be submitted for review and discussion to the council for consideration of voter approval.
Okay, can someone move on that amendment? We need to do that, we gotta move on that amendment too, right?
Because we have two.
Moved by Councilman Otas, second by Councilman Perilou. Any further discussion? Any further discussion? So, we need to vote on as amended?
No, the
No.
amendments.
We're gonna vote on the amendments. Vote on the first amendment,
Which is this one,
which is,
to be submitted for review and discussion to the council for consideration of voter
can you
approval.
read that in your thing? The First Amendment is... Ms.
First
Carter.
Amendment is to be submitted for review and discussion to the council for consideration of voter approval.
Okay. So, we had a motion? Did we have motions already?
For that one.
All right, all in favor? Aye. Any opposed?
Oh, wait,
Wait a second.
bring it up. The nays.
The nays are two. Okay, so it fails. No, wait a second, 1, 2,
3, 4.
4, 5. Oh. What's that?
We need 6. We need 6? We need 5. Yeah.
No, 5.
I thought you said
Okay.
we need 6. I was like, we need 6.
All right,
5 yeas, 2 nays.
the
That's
amendment
right,
passed
5-2-2. This amendment, the first amendment.
5-2-2 with LaFont and Jones being absent. Okay, the Second Amendment. Can I get a motion on the Second Amendment? Moved by Gross, second by Melvin. Ms. Carleen, could you read the Second Amendment?
Who's the motion second? I had,
Grow first, Grow moves, second by Melvin.
Second Amendment is resolution creating the Home Rule Charter Revision Committee to be composed of a minimum of 6 members, maximum of 10 members, one chosen from each councilmatic district by its respective council member or the council chair, and the amendment is, and an appointee by the parish president.
And also changing the number to 10, right? That's
And
part of that
changing the
amendment.
number to 10.
Did everyone get that? Do we need to read it again? Read it again with number 10 being the change,
Okay.
the amendment.
Resolution creating the Home Rule Charter Revision Committee to be composed of a minimum of 6 members and a maximum of 10. Taking out 9, putting in 10. That's part of this Second Amendment. One chosen from each councilmatic district by its respective council member or the council chair, and an appointee by the parish president. That's the second part of the Second Amendment.
All right, if the parish president chooses not to appoint someone, but this says that,
And an appointee.
and an appointee, we're going to have to amend that again, because if the parish president doesn't want to appoint someone, I don't want the committee to not be able to take place. This is why I wish we'd have had this earlier.
Don't y'all remove y'all motion in second? Y'all didn't take a vote
Can y'all remove the second,
for this second amendment, for this,
the second amendment? So
we'll
we'll,
start all over again. Let me erase.
so Mr. Jimmy, we're looking at your amendment again, because in case that, you know, you would decide not to appoint someone. That's why I kind of had to step in case people decided not to appoint
Chairwoman.
in their district.
Do we need to take a break to maybe call somebody with the DA? So I would definitely want to vote on this tonight the right way, because we've been waiting. Like,
What do you
I had
mean
my
call someone with
appointee.
the DA's office?
Just to
for?
make sure we word it right,
I-
the way everything's covered. If we need to take a break, let's take
I
a
think
break
we're
to get it.
fine.
Okay.
I think we're fine. I did meet with the DA before. That's a good idea. If you put optional appointment of parish president, in case you would decide not to participate. I know you won't, right, Mr. Jimmy? You're going to participate, but just I don't want the committee to not be able to move forward.
I wouldn't have suggested it if I.
Pardon me?
I said I wasn't going to, I would not have not suggested it if I wasn't going to appoint somebody.
Okay, we're just trying to cover the bases in case. All right, you want to read
Okay,
that?
this is the second amendment.
The second
Then need a
amendment.
motion in a second, because it's new.
You want to read it first?
Yes, I am. Resolution creating the Home Rule Charter Revision Committee to be composed of a minimum of 6 members, maximum of 10 members, taking out 9, putting in 10. 1 chosen from each councilmatic district by its respective council member or the council chair, and an optional appointment by the parish president. Second part of the second amendment, and an optional appointment by the parish president. Y'all good?
So that's good with everyone.
Okay.
All right.
Now you need a motion.
Now I need a motion for the second amendment. It's moved by Paraloo, second by Otan. All in favor of the second amendment? Aye. Any opposed? Did you vote? You voted yes? Okay, so 6-1-2, with one being Lorraine and LaFont and Jones being absent. Okay, now we need to vote on the item as amended, including the 2 amendments, right? All right. I need a motion. Moved by Councilman Otas, second by Councilman Paraloo. Any discussion? Mr. Bourgeois?
Yes, considering this, first off, I'd like to say that the Home Rule Charter is a pretty serious thing, and, I mean, other than Mr. Lorraine and Mr. LaFont and Mr. Jones, most of us have only been in office 2 years. And I think that's a serious undertaking to consider that we want to change the laws with only 2 years' experience. That being said, my question is that the decision of the council chair to appoint somebody, how does that come about? I received.
Well, it comes about because we wanted to put together this committee, and the majority of the council wanted to put together this committee. If someone doesn't want to appoint from their councilmatic district, we don't want one person to unilaterally decide that this committee doesn't happen. So that's why the council chair had to end up having the option to appoint
I received no
someone.
notice.
You received many notices, and if you check your email, you'll see that.
Ma'am, that is not a legal
Carlin, how
notice.
many-
You have to have my signature via U.S. mail
Okay.
or delivery.
Well-
That is the only legal notice according to the Attorney General in the United States. Email is informational, but
Okay.
it's not legal notice.
You received, what you mean, a legal notice stating what?
If you want to talk
You needed-
notice, notice
You needed
has to
a legal
come
notice stating what? That we're putting together a committee?
asking me for an appointee. I'm challenging
Okay,
the,
good. I suggest maybe you get with the administration to request a DA opinion, or you do so next meeting, but I'm moving forward. Councilman Otan?
Yeah, you got the email. Did you not respond? Or you saying you didn't get the email?
I didn't get the email.
Yeah.
You didn't get the
How many
email.
emails did you
I
send,
don't
Ms.
get a
Carlin?
lot of emails. I've made this complaint, I made this complaint to Mr. Bagala, I've made this complaint to Ms. Carleen. I've consistently not gotten emails.
I meant-
Well,
And I don't think there's anyone in this public.
I want to thank our council chairwoman for pushing this issue over the course of the last year, sending multiple emails and bringing it up at meetings to please submit your nominee. She's done it over and over. Unless you wasn't at any of the meetings and didn't read your emails, she has done more than her job in trying to notify everybody. I'm sorry on that one, but you're wrong.
Okay. Councilman Grow.
I was just going to mention, there were several emails. I had to resend my name a few times, and she did mention in the meetings, if you cannot find someone, I'll find someone for you. She mentioned, you know, I'll help you find somebody in your district. That was mentioned more than once, as I recall.
Councilman Lorraine.
Yes. What I'm looking at is we have 7 new people up here, and in 2.5 years, they're looking to change the charter. The point that I'm against a charter committee, I'm for a charter commission. On the 19th day of July 2004, we had a charter commission. This is the charter. This is what we go by. I think if it was followed by both parties, maybe we wouldn't have to be changing nothing. Both parties, administration and the legislative branch. If you follow this, there's nothing wrong with this charter. And then what really gets me is you can put whoever you want. Thank God it's got to go to the voters.
Right.
Because I can tell you, I know what they're going to do. But a charter change is political. What I mean by that, you're going to form this committee. They're going to do whatever they got to do. It's going to come back to the council. The council's going to add, subtract, do what they got to do. A commission, you can't do that. You form a commission, and whatever that commission comes up with goes to the voters. Here, I don't even know half these people that's on that list. They don't even have a resume. You're putting people on the most important board of the parish without a resume? Look at all the names that these people are coming up. I know maybe 3 of them. I don't even know if you have an attorney. You have one? Does he know the charter? Because a lot of times when you're going to change something in the charter...
You do remember this is a committee, not a commission.
Ma'am, I'm speaking. When you change something in the charter, you're affecting something else if you don't know what you're doing. Okay? It's not an easy task. These people right here, you had a judge, or you can say 2 lawyers because the judge is a lawyer, and another lawyer. You had an engineer, you had business people, and they met for a whole year to do this. A whole year. So you want to come in here and just plop, 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 change whatever you want, probably in your favor, and expect the people to vote for it? I don't think so. I mean, when we're going to start nominating these people, you don't have a resume in there at all. I don't know if that person, whoever you're putting, is a registered voter. If he votes there, maybe he or she might not even vote. When you want to get on a board in LaFourche Parish, you got to fill out a resume. You got to tell us the information. Here, this is very important. This is your government. And they want to form a committee and not even have a resume to the people that's applied. That's not too good. I don't think that's too good. Rush, rush, rush. I hope you put it to the voters tomorrow. Then you're going to really get what you deserve to get. So that's the reason why I'm voting against it. As far as who you putting in my district, I could care less. I don't even want to have nothing to do with it because I'm not interested in a charter committee. I would be more interested in a charter commission like you got right here. I see one man sitting right there that was on this commission. They put a lot of time into this. They had meetings. I mean, all kind of
Okay,
meetings.
you're belaboring the point.
What's that?
You're belaboring the point. You're going on and on with the same thing. We know they
ma'am.
met.
Since I'm talking, I'm good.
Councilman Melvin.
Yes, Mr. Lorraine, I appreciate the comments. You know, here's how I look at it. Last year, our first year in office, Mr. Parler and I co-sponsored to have term limits. It's in the charter. We didn't have to have a commission or a committee to change the charter. Most of the stuff, we just have to send it to the voters. We do not need a commission or a committee to change the charter other than a vote on here to send it to the voters. That's number one. Number two, what happens is, as I mentioned before, there's something in the charter where we're not following state election laws anymore because the charter was written by these folks who, as good as they were, aren't perfect. So now our charter is out of compliance with state election laws. That's one thing we're looking to change, is just to change the verbiage to say we're going to follow state election laws. And Ms. Carleen can vouch for that, because every time we have to send something, have something, we have to jump through some other hoops and some 30-day notices and everything like that. There's a few other things we'd like to change. It's not rocket science. We're not looking to reinvent the wheel. We're looking to make it spin better, and we're looking for more transparency. And I think that this is, again, if this is how government works and this is red tape, this is kind of what we're dealing with sometimes. I've said it before. And I find that we're just looking for more transparency to help government function more efficiently. And of course, we're going to send it to the voters. We would not do that without sending it to the voters. So I don't think, I trust the voters, and I trust the person I'm nominating. So again, we do not need a commission. We don't need a committee. We can go straight to the voters. But instead, we want some other heads to look at this, want the DA to look at this. So we're not going to this haphazardly. Yes, we have 6 new council members and one new parish president. And I don't know if I'm going to run or be elected again or whatnot, so I'm either going to cut bait or I'm going to fish while I'm in this chair. Thank you.
Mr. Otan.
Yeah, so I'm going to agree with you, Daniel. I was in favor of a commission, even though you hadn't brought it up before tonight. I don't know why you didn't, because she's been pushing this for a year. I was in favor of a commission, but ultimately, several of those people that's on that list you just referenced have contacted me personally and told me it's time for us to do some charter revisions. It's time to relook at this, so it's time to move on it. So I disagree in that we shouldn't take any action, because these people are telling us we should. And I do applaud the fact that we're going to take a look at it. Once again, it's coming back before us again to decide. So, I mean, this talk about who's on it and who's not, it's still coming in front of us. And you know what? If you really want to be involved, contact some of these people or attend. There's nothing that's going to restrict, correct me if I'm wrong.
It's a public meeting.
There's nothing to restrict any of us from attending and voicing our opinion as well. So, I mean, we're all open to being able to put any input we want into this.
Thank you, Mr. Otan. I don't do too much without talking to the DA. I know the ADA will sit in on these committee meetings. It is not a board. It's not a commission. It's a committee. The district attorney actually said it's a great idea to review things every few years, just as long as they're able to look at it to make sure one change doesn't cause problems with the other change, with another area. Also, whenever those suggested amendments are brought before, not amendments, those suggested changes are brought before the council, the DA will also be able to explain whether it's something that, where it could potentially cause problems, and then the council looks at it and listens to the discussion, and decides whether or not to move forward. I didn't go with the commission because it's a lot more involved, and from what the DA, and in talking with the DA, I think just having a few people look at it, look at things that whoever on the council or the administration is concerned about, maybe holes in the charter, that can't harm anything. We're not spending parish dollars. We're not hiring people to do this. We're having people come in and take a look at the charter in a committee, volunteer, and the DA to help go through it, and then come before council and make suggestions. I don't see anything wrong with it, and that's why I'm putting it forward, and that's why I've been working on it for quite some time. Mr. Lorraine.
Yeah, I just want to see, Armin, appreciate you saying that on the commission. I know just about every one of these personally, and I just can't understand how people can get calls and calls and I never get any. I done told the public my phone number is 438-4122. I don't ever get any calls on stuff like this. I just don't understand that. It kind of bothers me that everybody else gets calls and I don't.
Well, I don't really know what to say about that. Okay, so we're all, did we vote yet? As amended. We want to move to a vote. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Passes 5-0 with Lorraine and Bourgeois. 5-2-2? 5-2-2. 5-2-2 with Lorraine and Bourgeois being the nays and Jones and LaFont being absent. So we done there, right? Okay. Pardon me? Oh, gotcha. Okay, number 45, resolution appointing District Number 1 Councilman's appointee of Ms. Andre Brinkley to serve on the Home Rule Charter Revision Committee. Who's going to move for Jones? Grow. Second by Otan. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Oh, is your light on?
Yeah, my light was on. I was going to say that I know Ms. Brinkley, and unfortunately, I don't think it's right that we should be voting on these people like Mr. Lorraine said. We have no background, no information, why they should be on the committee, other than it's just a name, and I think it's a disservice to the voters to appoint people on a committee when there's no knowledge of who they are. I do know Ms. Brinkley. I went to high school with her. I think she's a good person. But we have no applicants, no other candidates, no nothing, and there's nothing against the applicants or the people there. I just think we're doing a huge disservice because any other board, commission, any other thing that we appoint people to, there's an application process. And I'm looking and there's absolutely nothing in my file about these people other than their name. And I think it's an extreme wrong.
Okay. Let's move it to a vote. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Passes 5-2-2, with Bourgeois and Lorraine being the nays and LaFont and Jones being absent. Number 46, resolution appointing District 2 Councilman's appointee of Ms. Danielle Stein to serve on the Home Rule Charter Revision Committee. Can someone move for me? Moved by Perilou, second by Melvin. Any discussion? Being none, all in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Passes 5-2-2, with Bourgeois and Lorraine being the nays, and LaFont and Jones being absent. Number 47, resolution appointing District 3 Councilman's appointee of Mr. Paul Arsenault to serve on the Home Rule Charter Revision Committee. Moved by Councilman Gross, second by Perilou. Any discussion?
Yes. I was
Yes,
going
sir.
to mention he is an attorney, and he also serves on the Civil Service Board in the city of Thibodaux. So he is versed in charters.
Awesome. Any further discussion? Being none, all in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Passes 5-2-2, with Lorraine and Bourgeois being the nays and LaFont and Jones being absent. Number 48, resolution appointing District 4 Councilman's appointee of Mr. Kent Leeret to serve on the Home Rule Charter Revision Committee. Moved by Councilman Melvin, second by Otan. Any discussion? Being none, all in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Passes 5-2-2, with Lorraine and Bourgeois being the nays and Jones and LaFont absent. Number 49, resolution appointing Council District 5's appointee of Mr. Paul LaBeouf to serve on the Home Rule Charter Revision Committee. Can someone move for me? Moved by Councilman Melvin, second by Perilou. Any discussion? Mr. Bourgeois.
Yes, I'd like the public to know that I had absolutely no input into this decision, and I would like to oppose it strongly. I think it's wrong that someone is quote-unquote representing District 5 and the council person did not appoint it. I still maintain that I had no notice. I'm sorry you guys disagree. I've made it public many, many, many times that I have substantial problems with email. I don't know what it is, but no one called me, no one reached out to me, nothing. And I think this is, to use the term, railroading District 5, because District 5 council member that's representing the district had no input on it.
Okay. Any further discussion? Councilman
I
Garrett.
do have a question for Mr. Bourgeois. At this point now, I mean, would you be willing to appoint someone for your district?
Yes, I would.
No, I'm not waiting. I had deadlines. We had 5 reminders. I'm not waiting. This desire to be obstructionist to this committee, I was specific in deadlines. I was specific with reminders. We did our due diligence to try to get participation from every councilman. We're moving forward. But your no vote is, your objection is Duly noted. Anything else?
Yes, I'd like to propose an amendment. Okay.
I don't know.
As you're appointing Mr.,
Yeah, I'd like to amend.
you want to say it?
I'd like to propose an amendment appointing Council District 5's appointee of Mr. Brent Abity to serve as the Home Rule Charter Revision Committee, and he is an attorney.
Okay, vote on the amendment. That's Bourgeois proposed it. Do you have a second? Second by Lorraine. Any discussion? Mr. Grow.
I'll support this, only if he's not doing it in billing for these hours in terms of his job with the parish.
Okay, so the amendment. Let's vote on the amendment. All in favor? Aye. Please raise your hands. Yeas, Bourgeois, Lorraine, and Grow? Yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4, 3. 3, 4.
3 yeas, 4 nays, 2 absent.
3 yeas, 4 nays, 2 absent.
3 yeas being Mr. Bourgeois, Mr. Grow, and Mr. Lorraine, am I correct?
Yeah, 3 yeas, Lorraine, Grow, and Bourgeois.
All right. So the amendment fails.
The amendment fails. Now, the original resolution.
I'd like to propose another amendment.
Just write it down.
I'd like to amend appointing Council District 5's appointee of Mrs. Holly LaBeouf to serve on the Home Rule Charter Revision Committee.
All right. That's a proposed amendment. Do we have a second? Second by Lorraine. Voting on the amendment. Right? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Nay. So the yeas were Lorraine and Bourgeois. Item fails. 252, with Lorraine and Bourgeois being the nays, Jones and LaFont being absent.
Obviously, whoever I'm going to appoint is not going to pass.
Excellent. Okay, the original resolution. I'm gonna go ahead and read it again, since some of us may have forgotten. Resolution appointing Council District 5's appointee of Mr. Paul LaBeouf to serve on the Home Rule Charter Revision Committee, moved by, that was
Mr. Melvin, second by Mr.
Melvin, and second by Paraloo. Okay. Any further discussion? Being none. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Passes 522, with Bourgeois and Lorraine being the nays, LaFont and Jones being absent. Number 50, resolution appointing District 6 Councilman's appointee of Ms. Carol LeBlanc to serve on the Home Rule Charter Revision Committee. Moved by Councilman Paraloo, second by Melvin. Any discussion? Being none, all in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Passes 5-2, with Bourgeois and Lorraine being the nays and LaFont and Jones being absent. Number 51, resolution appointed Council District 7's appointee of Mr. Lonnie Babin to serve on the Home Rule Charter Revision Committee. Can someone move on that for me? Moved by Councilman Otan, second by Paralew. Any discussion? Being none, all in favor? Any opposed? Can the nays raise their hand? Okay, passes 5-2, with Bourgeois and Lorraine being the nays and LaFont and Jones being absent. Number 52, resolution appointing District 8 Councilman's appointee of Mr. Herbert Melanson to serve on the Home Rule Charter Revision Committee. Can someone move for LaFont? Oh, Mr. Corey, okay. And moved by Councilman Paralew, second by Otan. Any discussion? Being none, all in favor? All in favor? Any opposed? Passes 5-2, with Bourgeois and Lorraine being the nays and LaFont and Jones being absent. Number 53, resolution appointing Council District 9's appointment of Miss Lacey. Okay, how do we say her name? laLafourche? To serve on the Home Rule Charter Revision Committee. Can someone move on that for me? Moved by Councilman Otan. Second by Melvin. Any discussion? Mr. Bourgeois.
I'm just going to point out the obvious to me, that this is sponsored by you and not Mr. Lorraine. And I know Mr. Lorraine is very active in his community. I know he knows people, and I'm not speaking for him, but I'm just going to presume that he wasn't in on this any more than I was on my appointee, and that's the only reason I'd see why you would sponsor one for his district. Thank you.
Again, it was mentioned at council meetings, reminder emails were sent numerous times, and if a council member decides not to participate, we can't have one or two council members unilaterally deciding to kill an initiative. And so that's why I made the provision for the chair to appoint, and that's Mr. Bourgeois.
I'm sorry, Ms. Council Chair. I don't know. Maybe I read differently or what have you, but it's my understanding when I read the charter that the senior council person is the councilman at large. We commonly call
No,
him.
there's no such thing as a council at large.
Ma'am, I beg to differ. There is a councilman at large. Ms. Carleen, do you have the charter handy?
Besides that, even if there is a councilman at large, it's irrelevant. You put forth your initiatives and do what you want with your initiatives, and I do what I want with mine. My constituents elected me to do a job. I'm here to do that job, and I'm here to combat obstructionists. And I'll do that at every turn. And if there is something that says a councilman at large, it gives them no additional powers. Bourgeois?
I'm looking for it, but I'm going to tell you that the parish president is also the council at large.
Your point is what? Your point is what? The parish president has no vote. So
no, but I'm just questioning where the council chair has the right to appoint in single-member districts. I'm just questioning the legality.
It's my committee. It's my initiative.
Yes, ma'am, but from my understanding, this is a 9-member council with the
Right.
parish president.
And this council majority rules on what happens, whether or not this committee's formed. This is voted on by the majority of the council. I didn't decide on this. The council majority. That's your charter. I didn't.
Yes, ma'am, I understand.
Yeah, the council majority does vote on initiatives. So no one person can kill or create any initiatives. This is a majority rules here, so. Okay.
Chairman?
Anything, Councilman Gray.
I just wanted to mention, for the record, I don't, and speaking for myself, and I think the others that were involved in this, I don't think anybody's trying to go and change all kind of rules. We just want people to look at it as, just combing through it again. There were some issues that came up where they had to refer to tapes this year to see, because it was a gray area where you could read it. A lot of these things, especially when attorneys get a hold of it, you can read things both ways. And, of course, some of those deals where we might have had to defer to the DA or to the tapes to see what was being discussed when they were talking about that particular item in these commissions. Maybe they'll add some teeth to some of those areas, so we know exactly what they meant or what's best for our constituents. So we're going to bring forth some issues that anybody may have. I welcome anybody in the public that may have any things that they'd like to question on it, to bring it forth to me, and I'll make sure my appointee gets it. But it's not to just go ahead and change everything or confuse voters out there or ramrod some cruel intention or political favoritism deal. So at least that's not the way I'm voting for on this.
Right, again, it's still, everything requires a council majority vote, and again, they'll be reviewed by the all suggestions are going to be reviewed by the DA and then come back before the council. So I'm very proud of this. I'm very excited that this council is just having someone take a look at it. When I came on as chair, there was a few things I wanted to accomplish. This was one of them. Council majority will decide. I won't. The majority will. Councilman O'Toole?
Yeah, just once again, I just want to, for point of order, I just want everyone to understand that this is not something that was just seemingly sprung on us tonight. This has been going on. It was brought up over a year ago. There's been many emails, discussions. It's been brought up here, reminders. So, I mean, I think I just want to make sure that everyone is crystal clear. This is not some secret organization that all of a sudden this has popped up today. This has been long in the works. So thank you, Ms. Esposito, once again for pushing this forward.
Right, and again, then if everything passes council, it goes to voters. All right, so we're ready for a vote. We have the first and second. Ready for a vote. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? All right, passes. Oh, let the record state, Mr. Bourgeois left us at 6:31 p.m. So the count, the vote there was 5.
5 yeas, 1 nay.
5, 1, 3.
3 absent.
With
5
Bush,
yeas, 1 nay, and 3 absent.
5 yeas, 1 nay, which is Mr. Lorraine, 3 absent, which is LaFont, Jones, and Bourgeois. Passes. Thank you, gentlemen. Number 54, resolution rescinding resolution number 18-085, which rescinded resolution number 18-047, which approved balancing change order number 1 from Byron E. Talbot Contractor, Inc. for the project entitled West Side Drainage Improvements. Can someone move for me? Moved by Councilman O'Toole, second by Melvin. Any discussion?
Yeah, so why are you rescinding the previous resolution? Is there a reason?
Yes, after talking with the DA, it's just something that needs to
So
be done.
legally what was done couldn't be done?
No, it was, I mean, it
Prior
was
to
done.
this?
What was done could be done because it was done. So now we are, to avoid some problems with days, I'm rescinding it. And again, this is a council majority. This is our prerogative to rescind any initiative that we pass. So, being said, all in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Passes 6-3. 6-3 with LaFont, Jones, and Bourgeois being absent. 6-0-3. Number 55, resolution ratifying the reappointment of Mr. Ray Collins to represent the Tulane University Alumni Association on the LaFourche Parish Civil Service Board. Melvin's going to move for LaFont, second by Perilou. Any discussion? Being none, all in favor? Aye. Any opposed?
2 seconds, I'm sorry to get it.
Any opposed? Okay, passes 5-0-3. 6-0-3 with LaFont, Jones, and Bourgeois being absent. Number 56. Y'all don't make me laugh. Resolution approving an amendment to the LaFourche Parish Multi-Year Implementation Plan as mandated by the Restore Act, and authorizing the parish president to sign, execute, and administer said amendment in any and all relevant documents. Moved by Councilman Melvin, second by Councilman Grow. Any discussion? Being none, all in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Passes 6-0-3. Jones, LaFont, and Bourgeois absent. Number 57, resolution appointing one member of the Fire Protection District Number 3. It's moved by Councilman Lorraine. Mr. Lorraine, what is your,
Yeah, Lawrence Monick, he was selected by the 4 members to be the president.
how do you say his last name? Lawrence Monick. Okay, can I get a second for Mr. Lorraine's? Second by Councilman Otan. Any discussion? Mr. Lorraine, you had something else? Okay. Being none, all in favor? Any opposed? Passes 603 with Jones, LaFont, and Bourgeois being absent. Number 58, resolution appointing one member of the Coastal Zone Management Advisory Committee. Moved by Councilman Otan. Who's your?
Ms. Nicole Lundberg.
Nicole Lundberg. Get a second from Councilman Lorraine? Any discussion? Being none, all in favor? Any opposed? Passes 603 with Jones, LaFont, and Bourgeois being absent. Number 59, resolution amended resolution number 15-141 approving the Code Red Next Services Agreement between LaFourche Parish Government, License and OnSolve LLC, FKA Emergency Communications Network LLC, licensor, and authorizing the parish president to sign, execute, and administer said amendment and any and all relevant documents. Moved by Councilman Otan, second by Paraloo. Any discussion? Being none, all in favor? Any opposed? Passes 603 with LaFont, Bourgeois, and Jones being absent. Number 60, resolution approving amendment number 7 to the contract between LaFourche Parish Government and Correct Health LaFourche LLC for the comprehensive inmate health care services at the LaFourche Parish Detention Center, and authorizing the parish president to sign, execute, and administer said amendment and any and all relevant documents. Can someone move for me? Moved by Otan, second by Paraloo. Any discussion? Being none, all in favor? Any opposed? Passes 603. LaFont, Jones, and Bourgeois being absent. Number 61, resolution approving a settlement agreement between the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency, EPA, and LaFourche Parish Government Parish regarding the Choctaw levy, and authorizing the parish president to sign, execute, and administer said agreement and any and all relevant documents. Can someone move for me? Moved by Councilman Melvin, second by Paraloo. Any discussion? Being none, all in favor? Any opposed? Passes 603 with LaFont, Bourgeois, and Jones being absent. Number 62, resolution requesting LaFourche Parish Council to review and approve the selection criteria for LaFourche Parish Head Start children for the 2018-2019 school year per Head Start performance standards, number 1302.4, and authorizing the parish president to sign, execute, and administer any and all relevant documents. Moved by Councilman Melvin, second by Paraloo. Any discussion? Being none, all in favor? Any opposed? Passes 603 with LaFont, Jones, and Bourgeois being absent. Number 63, resolution approving an intergovernmental agreement between the LaFourche Parish Government, LaFourche Parish Sheriff, the LaFourche Parish Clerk of Court, and 17th Judicial Court for security at the courthouse and courthouse annex in Thibodaux, Louisiana, and authorizing the parish president to sign, execute, and administer said agreement and any and all relevant documents. Moved by Councilman Lorraine, second by Paraloo. Any discussion? Being none, all in favor? Any opposed? Passes 603 with Bourgeois, LaFont, and Jones being absent. Number 64. Mr. Lorraine, did you want to read this? Since J, announcement of public meeting.
Announcement is hereby given that at its meeting to be held on Tuesday, June 12, 2018 at 5 p.m. at the Matthews Government Complex, 4876 Highway 1, Matthews, Louisiana, the LaFourche Parish Council. State of Louisiana plans to consider adopting an ordinance ordering and calling an election to be held in the sales tax district number 4 of the parish of LaFourche to authorizing levy of sales and use tax.
All right. K, parish president, department heads, directors, or managers report, presentation, and or updates. We're going to pull number 65. L, questions for the administration. Any questions?
I have a few.
Councilman Groh.
Okay, my first question, a while back, Councilman Bowe and I and President Cantrell met, and I mean a good while back. with Nichols State. We had some turnover in the administrator role, and I know Mr. Lasang picked the ball up with Nichols State in regards to those fiber lines. Where are we with that?
We had, our computer system was not accepting, outside email when the day that I contacted the guy, and I didn't have his number to call him back, but we did get back in touch, I think yesterday or Thursday, and I will be contacting him.
Just keep Councilman Melvin and I, and then also
I sure will. I'll email you all.
Senator Chabert was involved in that too, kind of facilitated the initial meeting. So if you want to copy him on it, that might help.
Okay.
Public Works in here. Marie, if you can maybe, since Mr. Bourne's in here, let me know. I sent an email about the Friends of laLafourche. We had some money in the budget for Layton boat launch, and I was trying to facilitate, they reached out to me trying to facilitate a meeting with Mr. Barnes, and I spoke to him briefly last night about it, but I just wanted to make sure we get, if y'all in contact with them, to kind of refresh everybody's memory on what they want to do. It was, okay. And then, I'm sorry, you have some?
State your name and address for the record, please.
Marie Blue Ann, 4876 Highway 1, Matthews. Mr. Barnes does have your email, and he has been in contact with Jennifer to get some update and all with information that she has on getting that done.
Okay, and I have some stuff too, as well. Okay.
And I know he, with him being out this week, he does plan on trying to set up a meeting with you next week.
Okay. If I'm not around, just to meet with Ryan Perk would be.
Correct, and he has his contact information also.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you. The other thing was in regards to Abbey Road overlay, and on March 27th, council passed the hiring of Leonard Chauvin as the engineer for that. And as of this week, no documents were signed. Where are we with that? We awarded, but I know y'all waiting on some paperwork.
We got him in, when you called me about it, I called him, and he said, y'all already have it, and we didn't have it. And he sent him over that day. He had obviously misplaced them. So we got him, I think last Thursday or something.
Did we send it back?
I'm not
Signed?
sure. I don't know. We got him. I don't know if we signed him or not.
President Cantor, do you know if you signed that?
Not yet. I didn't get the chance to review it and go over everything, so as soon as I do, I will.
Okay, keep me posted. Thank you.
Councilman Melvin.
Yes, I had a question real quick, Tommy. Maybe be some of your relatives, same last name, right south of LaFourche Crossing on 308, wondering about cable. I know the DPW and them have been getting some calls. Is there anything, I know it's probably not even our jurisdiction, but since we're talking about cable, I don't know I'm sure you can have Dish Network and get Wi-Fi, but they were looking at maybe when they might be getting a cable line run because there's more and more houses there. Do you know how we'd approach that at all from your point of view?
No, I saw the email, and I was curious as to why they don't have cable. Is it Richard Lasang?
Yes, I believe so. I know.
Well, that's him and his son lives across the street.
Yeah, because, they said they've been having no cable with this fiber optic stuff, I guess, I don't know, for a while, and they've just been waiting to get a line.
I'll find out. I want to know who the people were, so I'm glad.
All right, thank you.
Councilman Groh.
In regards to cable, from what I've gathered, because I had a similar call in my district early on in my term, the cable companies, it's so expensive for them to go and run those lines in a subdivision, and all they're doing is spend a lot of money on a hunting license. I mean, you're not guaranteed to get that. In terms of AT&T, if you have that, they pushing, from the UVerse now to DirecTV, because all you gotta do is put something on the roof. So that, whether they want DirecTV or not, that's probably their option. And I think more and more is gonna go up versus in the ground, just because of the cost of it. So.
Is that all the questions for the administration? Council reports, presentations, updates, and our questions again. Anyone has anything other than me?
I think I want to say something. I think didn't I send you the thing about the Raceland boat launch, being approved by the Corps? Did I send you an email on that, Lucy? Was that the one I said was about time or something like that? Is that the one I said you're happy now?
Oh, no, that's Terrio boat launch.
Yeah, what I call
Yes.
Raceland, yeah, Terrio,
Yeah.
okay. But the council doesn't know that, but that's been a a pain in the butt, to put it mildly, because we weren't getting approval, and it's past the court, so that'll be done. I know it concerned a lot of the councilmen.
Okay. The only thing I want to add is I wanted to thank the administration last night. We had a town hall meeting. 77 people signed in, but I know there was at least another 20, 25 people. We went Facebook Live post with. I want to thank Councilman Grow and Jones for coming out as well. And, you know, the administration had Public Works out there, permitting. Yeah, there were a lot of people out there, and I think we gave the voters, gave the residents, you know, some of the answers that they've been seeking. So, thank Tommy, if you could pass that on, since that side is already cleared out. Any further discussion? Any further discussion? Being none, can I get a motion to adjourn? Moved by Paraluz, second by Melvin. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Passes. What is it? 603 with LaFont, Jones, and Bourgeois being absent at 6:52 p.m.